All right. Hello, Emmanuel Noisette or E-Man from E-Man's Movie Reviews. I'm gonna kick it off with Ryan. I'm not sure if you recall, but man, I met you almost like 10 years ago when I had way more hair. And you, Michael, Tessa, y'all came to Chicago to promote Creed. And during the Q&A, you emphasized to the audience how important you thought it was for directors to also be writers. So I've been fascinated with that ever since. So my question for you is, as a writer, how did you go from honoring the memory of your late uncle and the themes of culture and music to then as a director using vampires as a medium to help us visualize all that?
I mean, it's a great question, man, and it sounds strange even when I talk about it, because it's a lot of elements, man, and I kind of poured my whole life into this movie, and I feel like I've been preparing for it for my whole life. But to be honest with you, man, I use like a cooking analogy, man. It's funny because our code name on the movie was grilled
Oh,
cheese.
jeez.
We didn't have a title for a long time, but I love to cook. My family's specialty, on my mom's side is gumbo. Like that's what they known for, right? They from the Gulf of Mexico. They from Port Arthur, Texas. And it's to this day the best gumbo I've ever tasted, and I'll put it up against anybody's. You know what I mean? And this film is that. You know what I mean? Like gumbo is its own dish, but it has a lot of crazy elements in it. You know what I mean? But when you say gumbo, you know what that is. It's more than just the sum of its parts. And for me, I love cinema. It's the artistic language that I speak the best. I love horror films. People didn't know that about me based off the last few films that I made. I wanted to really show my full self to the audience. And the reality is that Delta blues music, which is the most important contribution our country has made to global popular culture, I believe through this research, it's just an epic art form, but it has a very close relationship with religion. It has a very close relationship with the occult, with spirituality, both from the African continent and with Christian influences and others. So it made a lot of sense, to make it this way for me. And once I found these actors, it made more and more sense every day. If there's anything to that.
All right. Thank you so much, man. Congrats on the film. It really did feel like jazz on screen. So thank you.
Right on. That means a lot, bro. We coming to Chicago, bro. We're gonna be out
Oh,
there in a bit. You should pull up.
I got you.
I bet.
Hi, Jill Monroe, KBLA Talk 1580. So for Wunmi and Michael, the relationship between these two characters is very tender, very loving, but there's also that knowing that is there. So Wunmi, what does she know about Smoke that makes her care for him and do some of the things that she does for him in his absence?
I feel like she covers him. She's someone who like speaks life into him. She protects him. She's his safe place, his sanctuary, his home. And so I think whether they're physically together or apart, they're spiritually always entwined. And yeah, I think she's just someone who she says that she prays for him and his brother because there is no smoke without stack every day. Yeah, I don't know. Her, I think he is a part of her power too. Her love for him is nourishes her fire and her power. Yeah.
I agree.
Amazing, thank you.
Hi, my name is Ruben Peralta from Coca-Cola. How are you guys?
Doing good. Doing great, bro.
One of the things that I love about is the title of the film, because I feel it's loaded with moral and religious, that feeling of sinner and the definition of being a sinner is very particular. And I wonder, what is your personal definition, even you, Ryan, because you wrote everything, in the context of this story? What is that definition of being a sinner inside of the story?
That's such a great question, man. I love this title, and this is the first. We didn't, like I said, we didn't have a title for a long time. You know, it was almost a joke. Like our script supervisor, Steve Gerke, would pitch a title every day. Like, you know what I mean? Every day we would say, you know, he would hard sell a different title every day, and that was you know, we had so much fun, but I had a hard time coming up with a title for this movie, bro. Like an intensely hard time. And I think we found it like in a collaboration with a lot of different folks, a lot of different elements. But it was like once we found this, I was like, oh my God, it always had to be this, you know, because there's so much judgment involved in that title, but there's also an acknowledgement that everybody is this, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody knows that this is something that everybody is, but you can also like levy it against someone, you know, and I think that the brilliance of blues music. The Delta blues music is that blues musicians don't have a problem judging themselves and leading with that, like leading with their flaws, you know what I'm saying? Leading with the fact that I'm tormented or I'm broken, and finding a way to make that not just acceptable, but to make that seductive, you know what I mean? And make that cool, you know. For me, I think that like it's something so brilliant in that. And also so black, you know what I mean? Like but also like it's for everybody, which is why the blues became something that everybody all over the world can take ownership in. You know what I mean? You know, that's what I had.
For the performers, what the definition of being a sinner is inside the story, Michael?
I mean, everybody's flawed. I feel like all the characters at some point are at a crossroads of some type of sin. You know what I'm saying? Whether they see it, you know, whether it's off camera, before the movie, or during the film, where our story takes place. You know, I think there's some element of that, of ownership of that in some type of way, which I found pretty profound and interesting. That those characters kind of existed where it was, and then we found the title afterwards that kind of encompasses the characters in the movie.
Thank you so much, guys. Congratulations. I love the film. One of my favorites so far.
Appreciate that. Thank you, man.
Hey, everybody. Brandon Collins from Media Popcorn Podcast. My question is for all of you. I love to hear about people who are at the top of their game and how they problem solve. So can each of you tell me, without spoilers, about the hardest day on set and how you push through it? And I'm going to start with Mr. Caton.
Oh, man. Toughest day on set. Tell me about your hardest day on set, but don't tell me nothing about the movie.
All right.
Only you figure that out. Let's do it.
I don't think I can do it, but I can say one of the toughest portion of the film was probably like some of the night shoots. Man, it was a lot of elements. We shot the film in New Orleans, and it was a lot of elements, the heat, but you know, we was all in it together, so it kind of made it fun.
I feel like the hardest day was probably my last scene. Not my last scene. I shot my last scene in the movie. I think just kind of encompassing all of the emotion and love and grief and hope and truth of the scene. It was just a hard day to kind of balance it all whilst keeping the story in the forefront, because emotionally there's a lot to balance in there.
Thank you. And Mr. Jordan, since you had dual roles?
Every day. It was a challenge. I would say you know, it's tough because, you know, Smoke and Stack both had, you know, their own, you know, extreme challenges, you know what I'm saying, with in their own way throughout the movie. So I mean, yeah, I think any days that where it was twin work when both of the brothers were in the same scene was pretty tough. just because the amount of times, you know, I had to do the scene, and the margin for error was so small when it came to, like, you know, blocking or timing. And there's a lot of elements that had to be just perfect in order for it to work. So I think overall the twin days were probably the most challenging for sure.
Okay. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Coogler.
Man, bro, I would say the hardest day I had on set was, have you seen the movie, bro?
Of course, absolutely.
Okay, yeah. So there's a scene early in the movie where the Smokestack twins are driving the Model T, and Sammy's in the back seat, and they drive to a rural road, and they park the car and jump out and go into a hideout. And like, bro, like the way we had to shoot the repeat passes on the car with the, you know, with the twin work, and I had an incredible visual effects team, and Michael Rowler, our visual effects supervisor, and James Alexander, our visual effects producer. We were all trying to figure this technology out. You know what I mean? And we developed a new way of doing this work with repeat passes, and I was trained to be right next to the camera. You know, that was how I learned how to be a filmmaker. And anytime when I'm separated from the camera, it becomes very difficult for me. Like, I don't like being out of monitor while the camera is close to the actors. It puts me on my back foot. But I had to be like this on this twin work, because I had to see the image of the past that was done before, and they do it in a layering effect, so that people look like ghosts. You know what I'm saying? Like in the actual image. And on one shot, bro, they fucked up the layering effect where they doubled it. And so the car came down the road, and then like 8 different mics jumped out of the car. and I swear, bro, my eyes went like this, bro. Like, cause like my whole brain shut down. Like, yo, what the fuck is going on? You know, and here's the other thing. Like, I'm making a twin movie, but and I love identical twins. I got a bunch of them in my family. I'm good with identical twins, but I have a doppelganger phobia. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good with identical twins, but doppelgangers will literally paralyze me with fear. You know what I'm saying? so they produced like 3 pairs of doppelgangers, literally, bro, like on separate timing. You know what I'm saying? So like all of these, it was like the Kendrick Super Bowl thing. Like, hella people got out the car, bro, out this Model T, and I just like shut down for 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? And nobody knew why I was freaking out, except for Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, that was definitely my most difficult day on set, I would say.
All right. Well, I was not expecting that. Thank you all so much. Great work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Michael, Ryan, Wunmi, and Mike, thank you for a wonderful performance. We love this film. We're looking forward to seeing it do great things. We're going to kick things off introducing you to the AAFCA members on the call today, starting with Tatiana Abinandos from New York, Anthony White from New York, Nancy Green from Los Angeles, Dana Abercrombie from New York, Brandon Collins from New York, Ruben Regald from South Florida, and Emmanuel Noisette from Chicago, Illinois. I'm going to let you guys do what you do so well, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Tatiana with Medium Popcorn Podcast. And one of my favorite scenes of this movie actually includes everyone right now, and it was the fighting scene. So my question is,
which fighting scene? There are a few of them.
True, and I don't want to spoil it for our.
Oh, okay, got it.
But the big one.
Okay.
The big one surrounding the juke joint, and so I particularly wanted to know, had you had any training prior to the movie that assisted you, and if not, what steps did you take to make that scene come to fruition?
Listen, I just want to start by saying it did not have to end like that.
Come on, yeah.
You know, it was peaceful, it was jovial, and then I'm not going to say too much, but there's a Molotov cocktail gets launched, and what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do? You know, Lily, I'm looking at you.
Well, you know, without me, there would be no movie.
Wow.
There would be no third act.
That's a fact, actually.
Because, you know, it would have never hit the fan.
I'm going to ask you a question, young lady. Yes, I've had stage combat in my actor training. That was your question, right?
Yes.
Have you had? Yes. So yes, I had stage combat, fighting combat.
And did you find that
Training.
did you find that it helped you for this, or was this a particular fighting style you
No,
learned?
it did help. It did help, and also when I was younger, I took a lot of dance classes, and you know, fight either in the theater or on screen is choreographed. So all of that training helped with this work in this film.
Yeah.
The fighting.
I had to train how to throw a fireball. That was terrifying. But I was all right.
Yes, it was all right.
okay.
It's better than all right. Yeah.
My favorite
Try
was
being on the receiving end.
my favorite was picking up a weapon and being told by the arms people that I'm not doing it right, but keep it because that is realistic for Perlene. And I said, "Oh, thank you."
Jayme.
Sandwich.
Yeah.
3 o'clock. The square next to
In the pink, that's
in the pink,
Jayme.
that's Jayme. That's what I said.
Delroy, now.
Like you don't understand, Jayme. You don't understand how small the box is right now.
I didn't know that
The
was
box
you,
is
Jayme.
tiny. He just heard your voice. That's how he knew.
I had no idea. I'm sorry, Jayme. I didn't know who this chick was. So who is that?
This is crazy. You would
Talking all
think
this
we
stuff.
didn't do a movie together, like, at all.
Jayme, I apologize.
The box is small.
We're taking up these guys' time.
Yeah, we're
I'm
taking the
sorry.
time. Sorry,
Go
they
ahead.
didn't come for this. Sorry.
Yeah, they didn't want to hear all that.
You didn't want to hear that. Oh, that's your man.
We're not going to get through.
Stop it.
Let them
Please,
speak.
let the journalists speak.
This is funny as fuck.
We have a good time together, y'all, and hopefully it shows in the film. To bring it back as professionals, hopefully it shows in the film centers because the cast really got along well together, and and Ryan and Michael B set that tone. They really did.
Yeah.
It was welcoming, and their collaboration, this being the 5th one, really, in speaking for everybody, felt like it was extended to all of us.
It was.
Yeah.
No question.
Thank you so much, and it really shows.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you all so much. Anthony with the movie blog, very excited to speak with all of you. It's an honor and a privilege. Thank you all so much. Now, my question, watching this movie, there's some insane moments in this movie. We got vampires, we got baptisms, we got fire. The whole thing was out of control. And I'm curious, what was your first reaction seeing the final cut, especially with all the full sound design? Like, Delroy, you had that moment where you were talking about a lynching and they overlaid the sound, all that stuff layered in. Was there anything that genuinely shocked you, even as, folks who lived through it on set? I'm curious what your perspective is.
I genuinely was very jump scared. Every single one of them made me startled me.
To me, I thought it was fantastic the way, based on what we shot, what we read, to then see how Ryan's mind works and how everything got put together and came to life. When you make a film, it requires a lot of trust as an actor because you only have control over what it is that you lay down. And you don't know how it's going to be used, and you just pray for the best. And I think that one thing I want to give credit for is because Ryan made us all look fantastic, and I think he honored all of our performances.
Yeah. Last night was unreal. Getting to be with an audience for the first time and watching that. I mean, it felt like church in that theater a little bit. Lot of oh girl, don't do that. Wait. My favorite, Miles's aunt. Oh, God bless her. There's a scene that Miles and I have, and it's dead quiet, and his aunt just goes, "What is happening?" And But those are the kind of moments when we were on set, we were hoping that, you know, that people would get to enjoy this as much as we enjoyed making it, and to see and hear the audience lean in and cheer and clap and scream and talk and jump. It was a big payoff last night.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. First time I watched it, the final cut anyway, was last night on IMAX, and I had my head blown, surely blown. It still is now, you know. Amazing, and such a rewarding treat as well to hear the reactions and to be in a packed cinema, and just feeling that level of payoff, if I may say so, was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much. You all did a fantastic job, even down to the river dancing. Thank you all so much.
Bless you. God bless
Thank you, man.
Jack can skate, can't he? He was out there moving on him.
Don't start me.
Hi, Nancy Green here. And
Nancy.
hey, this movie was great. I loved it. It was so much fun. While I was watching it, one of the things I really love about movies like this is seeing the references for fans. Like, I clocked Demon Knight, Supernatural, a little bit of Dusk Till Dawn. And so I wanted to know for you guys, like, how excited are you about this movie? What were your favorite films to see in the screening, and also favorite scenes to shoot in terms of like the action and all of that, and just like kind of being fans of the genre as well?
I think Ryan being a cinephile goes a long way. And, you know, there was one really cool thing that I like how it came together. And we were under a lot of time constraints making this film because we were shooting in New Orleans in the summer. And that means it's about a 16, 17 hour daylight. But we needed to shoot the film at night. So there was a lot of times we were fighting the light. And I remember one of them, if you guys remember, was when those who had turned were all outside and we were singing Pick Poor Robin Clean and we were marching towards the juke.
Sun stuff.
Yeah, and the sun started coming up, so we didn't have a lot of time to get the shot. But there was a Night of the Living Dead homage in there that was dope. And you know, Ryan being a cinephile, there's a lot of stuff from a lot of other movies that it seems like he's paying homage to, which is all the more reason for people to see the film multiple times.
Yeah.
And what were some of your favorite scenes to film in terms of like the action? Because that ending, just I don't want to give a lot away.
Yeah.
This is the hardest part about this film, right?
Yeah. I'll say.
No, you go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Oh,
Go
no.
ahead.
I was gonna say one of my favorite scenes to film. It wasn't an action sequence, but it's when things turn left. We had some days we couldn't get through the shoot because we were just cracking up laughing. So there's also some like inside jokes that I think we all were laughing at that the rest of the audience wasn't laughing at. But that made watching it really special because I felt like I was back on set with these guys again and getting to see that there's when Omar puts his hand out, every time I have a chuckle. I can't.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Give it up.
Because you know what's coming.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
You know what's coming, right?
Yeah, thank you so much. And this film was just fantastic. It was great seeing you all, and yeah, I loved it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hi, Dana Abercrombie, the Coalition. My question is directed towards Mr. Lindo. What I love about this movie, well, especially with your character, is the weight of music and how it both the negative and the positive impact of it on, especially when it came to your character. Can you talk about finding the balance between that, the joy and kind of not the hatred, but the kind of the negativity in which it brings to that character?
I have to tell you that there was, and I'm not being flippant, there was nothing negative from my standpoint. You as an audience, how you receive what you saw is very different from me making the work, because there was nothing negative about Delta Slim's relationship to the music. Certainly, you can say that Delta Slim, I am a person who has a history that one could say some of it was positive, some of it was negative. But you know what? Here's what's interesting. And I'm not sure what you're referring to when you say negative, and you don't need to tell me, it's okay. But let's for instance talk about the drinking. What I thought I understood about the drinking, my drinking, is it's steeped in my history. And when I'm in the car talking about what happened between myself and my man, hopefully the audience gets a sense of where that comes from.
Yeah.
Right? So to answer your question, there was nothing negative from my standpoint. Complex, absolutely. But not to oversimplify this, but I try to play each moment as truthfully as possible. I did a lot of research. I listened to a lot of music, a lot of Howlin' Wolf, a lot of Son House, a lot of cats who were from that region of the country, and make this person, Delta Slim, as multi-dimensional as I could. And how the audience responds is outside of my control, and as it should be. You know, you all should have your own reactions to it. But there was nothing negative from my standpoint at all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Brandon Carlson, Media Popcorn Podcast. My question is for Mr. O'Connell. Without spoiling too much, what research or preparation did you do for the role Remick prior to filming, and that includes any relevant dance training?
I got kind of lucky there because when I was like 4 years old, my dad, who was out with Kerry in Ireland, he took me to Irish dancing lessons.
Oh, check you out.
As a whippersnapper.
Yeah.
Young four till about 8, and I was like one of 3 boys in a class full of girls.
Oh, wow.
I was thinking, Dad, why are we here? Why are we here, Dad?
Why are you punishing me?
What's this all about? And it was great, man. Listen, we went to tournaments and things, and it was brilliant. It was like, you know,
Tournaments?
Oh yeah. Jumping Jack, they used to call me.
Stop it.
Jumping Jack.
How about that?
You have medals.
I've got medals and shit.
Do you really?
Oh my God, are you hearing this?
Yeah, I am hearing this. God bless you. That's part of his background. Part of his history.
Jumping Jack, that's your new...
Jumping
Thank you for
Jack.
sharing
Yeah.
that, Mr. O'Connell. Great job to everybody.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And then the music as well. Like I was reared on that traditional Irish music, and Ryan Coogler was. This is the real stuff. You know, not like the pop mainstream, the Cause, who were great. Don't get me wrong. For example, but yeah, the Dubliners, Luke Kelly. That's the heritage, and that's the education there. So it was great. I could not believe that it featured in this. Film. The first time I read it, I had to read them pages multiple times before I could believe it. Yeah. So I was honoured. It was a massive thrill.
So thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, man, Jumping Jack.
Jumping Jack, that's your new contact.
4 years old.
You about to change as soon as we get off.
Yeah.
Jumping Jack.
Jumping Jack.
That's a keeper, Jack. You're not gonna be able to shake that, bro.
They'll be coming out down in Australia now, Delroy.
How about that? I will not forget it. Jumping Jack. Meet Jumping Jack right here. Jumping Jack.
Hi, my name is Ron Peralta from Colega.net. I totally love the movie. One of the things that I love is the town. I feel the whole town, it's a character by itself. And it just feels haunted. It feels like something's gonna happen. And I wonder how this environment helped to shape your character, including for Mr. Jumping Jack.
Oh, it's stuck. It's stuck now.
I think Jumpin' Jack needs to answer that question.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Take it away, Jumpin' Jack.
Get him, JJ.
Can you repeat that? Sorry. My head was elsewhere, man. I was back in 1994 at the Irish dance tournament. What was the question? Sorry, mate.
Can I say something?
Of course.
You identified something at the very beginning of your question. The community is a character.
Yeah.
The community is a character in this film, and it absolutely is a very strong character. And the community has such vibrancy, has such beauty, has such depth of character, and Sammy, Preacher Boy, being part of a lineage, his relationship to the community, that's exactly what Remick, I think, I don't want to speak for you, JJ, but that's exactly what he and his colleagues want, because that's where the value is. That's where the goal is in this community. That's what they're coming after. He says it.
He says it. Look, I want your memories.
I want
you'll know what I know. I know what you know.
That's right. He says it.
Wow, that's
he
great.
articulates it. So,
now
but you may have a different opinion, JJ. What do you think, man?
No, I'm with you, man. No, I'm with you. Not even being facetious. No, that's well said. Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's
is a character.
That God-given thing. It's that God-given thing that he's after there. You know.
Yeah.
With amazing talent like that, it's sometimes it's said that they're touched by something higher, and I think that's what's being lusted for by Remy.
Yes. Good lusted for. They're lusting after that. And there's a scene in that we shot that is not in the film, where I say to Miles's character, "You're the future," and I think that also is part of what Remick and his colleagues are, to use your term, Jack, lusting after.
Yeah.
I agree. Thank you so much for your time. I love the movie. It's one of my favorite this year so far.
Thank you.
One of.
I have seen so many so far, like you have no idea. But this one, I love horror movies and I love everything involved with vampires. I think it's just deeper than just sucking blood and killing.
It absolutely is. Yeah. That's right.
And these vampires, they just want to transform people just for pleasure. So they wasn't looking for anything else. And I think that's depth. It's really deep, the feeling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Emmanuel Noisette, or E-Man, from E-Man's Movie Reviews out here in Chicago. My question actually is for Mr. Lindo. In this film, of course, there's like this interesting exploitation that happens to Black folks specifically, but also those who feel unseen or unwanted. And given your illustrious career, have you ever experienced a moment maybe in this industry where you felt unseen or unwanted? And did this film maybe help channel some of those feelings in a way?
That's a great question, bro. And not being facetious at all, there are plenty of times when I've felt unseen. Lots of times. One doesn't cry the blues about that. One is aware of the arena that one is playing in. Interestingly, I'm writing a book right now, a memoir. And one of the central components of what I'm writing has to do with being unseen. And what just me, it's my mom, because it features my mother also, and what we have to do in order to attempt to be seen. And to the extent that that's my story, I would say that that's people of color across the globe. That's part of what we have to navigate in our lives. How do we get seen? How does our value? How do we get people? No, I was going to say, how do we get people to value us? That's not the emphasis. We are who we are, and the world reacts to us in a certain way, and so often we have to say, no, that's not who I am. Don't put that on me. This is who I am.
Right.
Your interpretation of who I am is wrong. This is who I am. And when you make that, when any of us makes that statement, no, this is who I am, that is the attempt to be seen in terms of the value, the accuracy of who we are. So that's a very long-winded answer, man. Yeah, there are plenty of times I've been felt unseen, but I'm sure that everybody here can tell you stories that encapsulate a very similar experience. But thank you for the question, bro.
Well,
and I got
thank
to
you
plug
for the
my
answer.
book, so thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Congrats, everybody, on the
Thank
film.
you.
It was really good.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you. I want to say something. Oh, I'm sorry. My hand on your lip. I'm sorry. I want to say something, okay, about being seen. Did you see a film called The Five Bloods? Spike Lee?
Absolutely.
Okay. So that was a very interesting experience. I'm not going to harp on it, but because I've felt profoundly proud of that work, the whole endeavor, and to see how certain areas of the industry chose to ignore it was a lesson. And I say it was a lesson to have that experience at this point in my career. Was a not wonderful, it was a lesson, because what I had to do was recalibrate some things internally in reaction to that. But what I'm thankful for in the final analysis is the job, the gig, and I say this to all of us who have experienced rejection or whatever, the gig is to keep working. Keep working. And remember, the film is forever. Film is forever. No matter who responds or doesn't respond, it's on film.
Yeah, I agree. This particular film is brilliant, whether nobody shows up at the theater.
And I
I
feel that
think
way
they're
about
going
this.
to they're
Yes.
going to show up, but I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent, but I wanted to say that.
No, you were giving Jack and me some life over here, so we take it. Yeah.
All right. God bless y'all.
I actually have a question for Miss Lee. Your character is so powerful from the minute she comes on screen, because they're actively seeking her out for not just her talent, but just how you present that particular moment of the haggling back and forth on price, and then when you are in action at the juke joint. I'm curious to learn more about your inspiration for that character and what led you to go with that tone and that approach.
Well, a lot of prep came from a documentary made by a filmmaker named Dolly Lee about the Mississippi Delta Chinese American community, and it was a community that I wasn't very aware of, but they were essential in the 1930s during a very segregated period. And they kind of acted as a medium, a more or less a bridge between when people were wildly segregated and were not able to even buy the most basic needs such as groceries. And the Chinese community were the ones who started opening up grocery stores for both the Black and white communities separately.
I didn't know that history.
And when people couldn't afford their food, they accepted credit so that everyone can still eat. And
Wow.
yeah.
Who knew? I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, and what was interesting was, even though there was a quote by Frida Kwan, who was one of the inspirations for Grace. Is she said, and we all stayed in our lanes, and because if you crossed over, it's not a good thing if we crossed over, but everything was fine as long as it stayed in our lanes. But they were deeply embedded in the culture. If you closed your eyes and you listened to any of them who looked like me but spoke with such a thick accent, you would never have imagined them to look like the way they do. And they still speak about just how special and unique that group of people are especially when they travel, and how much they surprise people with the way they sound. But their mission was to raise their kids and help their kids get out of that world. And so that population has dwindled over the last decades, since the 1930s. But going back to, what makes Grace so strong, I think that's just really all on Ryan. He wrote this incredible character who is faced with these dilemmas of, does she save her daughter? She has nothing but just pure maternal primal instinct to save her daughter at any cost, even at everyone else's lives. Sorry, everyone.
Sense.
Thank you so much, and wonderful job.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. What's the name of that documentary?
The Mississippi Delta Chinese Community. It's a
It's
great
literally-
documentary
Wow.
on YouTube. It's
It's on
very
YouTube.
short. It's very short.
Wow.
But
Who
she's,
knew?
yeah.
I had no idea.
And they cooked Southern style Chinese food. And they had to
Okay.
Wow.
It's really
Yeah,
cool.
right.
It was really, really awesome.
So I kind of want to piggyback on that line of thought, right? There was that scene where we see the ancestors, right? It's beautiful. It's powerful.
It is.
Did filming moments like that affect you personally, or change how you thought about the story's spiritual or historical weight? And Lee and Storm, I mean, Jayme, if you can chime in on this too.
That was cute. That was cute. I'll say for me, that was actually the scene that made me want to do this film. I was reading the script and I didn't have enough time to read it really, and there's so much on the pages, and then I got to that one page where Miles has that big number and there's that convergence of spirits, and I had never read anything like it. And it had all the sensibilities of the things that I love about the theater. Honestly, it felt that was like the most theatrical thing I had seen on a film page. And I was like, I don't know how he's going to do that. I don't even know if he's going to pull that off, but I want to be there for it, whether he does or not, right? And I didn't care what came after that page. That was the moment I said I wanted to be a part of this. And then getting to film that and seeing all of everybody from, I don't want to give any spoilers, but yeah, getting to see everybody and getting to see everyone's ancestors. It was unreal in the making of it. And then last night, getting to watch it on that big screen, I was screaming. Like I was actually screaming. I was audibly screaming because I just felt like I was transported somewhere else. And I felt so proud to get to share that experience with everyone. And Ryan gave us that gift and gave everybody else that gift. Because I haven't seen anything like that.
One of the things that I wanted to talk about with the movie, Delroy, your character, when they're driving to the joint, and he talks about, how he won a lot of money, he had all this money, him and his friend, and what happened to them there. I think that is a very important part of this movie and kind of ties in with everything that happens. Even with Remek's character, it seems like pretty much all of them, their lives were destroyed by this type of thing. Remek talks about why he wants to get the power is because they came into his village and destroyed them and called them all sinners.
Yes.
So, if you can talk a bit about that.
The monologue in the car. It's hard to talk about this film without giving too much, or without revealing too much. But the monologue in the car was, for me, it came to represent not just a really powerful monologue that I got to work on as an actor. I came to identify that monologue as part of my origin story, including how I react to the chain gang. And at a certain, one of I think the first cut that I saw, the chain gang was not included in the cut. And I had to talk to Ryan, and to Ryan's credit, to Ryan's everlasting credit, he said to me, man, what do you think? What are you feeling? And I told him, honestly, how I was feeling at the omission of that scene, and God bless you.
Sorry.
And he took it on board, and it was reinserted. That monologue, which actually starts with seeing the chain gang, is part of my origin story. It's part of where the drinking comes from. It's foundational to where the drinking comes from, and the basis of the pain that I am medicating against, self-medicating. Because Rice was my again, without revealing so much, I talk about a person in that monologue who was my dude. I mean, my ace boonie. And to reveal what happened to him and the fact that I could not or did not do anything about it. There was nothing I could do. So what I can do is I can continue to make my music, exercise my quote unquote power in that way, and I can self-medicate to to numb the pain and the guilt. And Ryan and I talked about all of that, and thank God, they reinserted a lot of it back into the film.
Can I also say that's one of my favorite scenes, honestly, because
God bless
from that chain gang and in that car, and then you understand how blues was birthed in that one scene, because you see him live through this pain, and that pain then loses words, and the words turns into a moan, and the moan turns into a song. And when I saw that for the first time, it gave me chills. I was like, yeah, that's it.
It's one of the things I'm most proud about this movie for Delroy, is the symbolism of that.
Yeah.
Conveyed by your performance in that scene.
Thank you. Thank you, man.
It was so moving.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Educational.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I want to say one other thing. That, moan at the end, and how it kind of crescendos into a musical moment. I improvised that. That just happened in the moment. And Ryan and Michael B and Preacher Boy, we all went with the moment. We all went with it. We had a finite amount of real estate to shoot that scene. We had to keep turning around because we only had so much real estate to navigate that scene. And in that take, Michael B, he made a detour so that we had more ground to cover in the car, and Ryan kept the camera going. He kept it going.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And they found, so that's indicative of the generosity. It's indicative of all of us as workers being on the same page and allowing space for something that was not in the script to become part of the narrative.
Yeah.
And I'm forever grateful.
Yeah.
And the mark of thank you. But the mark of Ryan's generosity, Michael B's ingenuity in making that little detour, and it just helped us to get closer to the work.
Yeah.
And it's part of the joy of being part of this story. Yeah.
Nice.